Big Wrench is not my dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually, yeah.
Well, you didn't know what YouTube was till about 3 years ago.
That was actually probably
fine.
the only design
used once.
flaw that you've had, Big Wrench, is
I
how
don't know
narrow
that it was
you.
my design flaw. I just need this one last shot, and that's what's gonna do it in. Like,
Maybe we should have a weld off.
Oh.
the timelines here is probably one of the most stressful.
Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Luckily for you guys, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code WIDEOPEN at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. That's code WIDEOPEN at shopmando, shopmando.com.
My friend Ben, he's my friend, he's the best old Ben there's ever been. Ben, he's my friend. Ben, you're my friend. Ben, you're my friend. You're the best old Ben there's ever been. Ben, you're my friend.
Hey, thanks
Kinda
for having
hard.
me, guys.
Pretty good song.
Thanks
Pretty
for
good
having
song.
me. Hey, Big Wrench, I got some good news.
Oh boy,
He just broke the mic. Have you ever fixed a mic before?
I have not fixed a mic.
I'm sure you could figure it out.
What the heck did I just do?
You literally just broke the mic.
Dude, I've
Pull
been
that
breaking
thing
so
in.
much stuff lately. Not even on purpose. Most things aren't on purpose, but like
Just
barely-
because Big
barely
Wrench
even
is
on
here,
film.
just because Big Wrench is here doesn't mean you can start breaking stuff during the podcast, Ben.
Looks like you're messing with a throttle.
You
right
pissed
now.
some people off with how you broke that e-bike.
Dude, Ben just didn't want to ride this week.
So he was like, okay, I'm going out to ride. I don't want to rip the throttle off.
Piss people off. Were they actually?
Yeah, there were some comments.
About what?
They were mad that you broke the throttle. They're like, Ben, go ahead, breaking everything.
Dude, yeah, it's okay when Evan does it. It's a problem when I do it.
It's cool when Evan does it.
Problem when I do it.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say the good news is the twin turbo kit for the Unicorn just got here.
today.
Yeah, so if you want to get going on
We'll be
by
right
next
on-
Thursday.
We'll be right on that one.
It's a good Friday project.
Well, guys, welcome back to the Life Wide Open podcast. We have a special guest.
Two special guests,
Two
actually,
special
eventually.
guests. We have Gavin coming on as well, but we have Big Wrench,
Hey,
one of the wrenches, coming on the podcast today because he's just got plenty of good stuff to tell, and you guys have been asking for a long time. Highly
requested, Big Wrench.
well, that's exciting to hear.
Yeah, man.
Is there a way I can turn this down a little?
Yeah, too
Yeah,
loud.
yeah.
Yeah, Ken, can you turn that down?
Ken ain't here. I'm surprised that you would want yours turned down.
Well, who sits here normally? Like somebody needs their hearing checked, maybe.
Oh, Evan does sit there sometimes, so he is
He
deaf
only
in
has
one ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd think your hearing, Brian, would be worse,
I actually
Just-
took a hearing test, one of those online things.
and it was good.
Yeah, I'm at like a 54-year-old, which I'm not 54, so.
Wait, an online
It's
hearing
it's
test?
yeah, like you put your phone up to it, and when you can't hear the noise anymore, you're supposed to tap it, and it stops, and then
Oh.
it gives you like an age of what your hearing's at.
Oh wow, that's really interesting.
I always think about your hearing. Same with Gavin's with all the
it's-
loud noises.
It's not good, and I don't take care of it. So.
It's crazy.
There's a lot of things that I should probably do that Gavin actually does because he's younger than I am, and like
And smarter.
was brought up that way.
Yeah, what is that called? They call it like OSHA's got a name for it, but it's when you're like wearing your safety glasses and you have hearing protection. Evan said it the other day because Evan used to be in the labor union. PPE,
Yeah.
PPE,
Yeah.
personal protection
Yeah,
equipment.
stuff didn't exist that much when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I wear glasses, so I'm good.
Oh yeah, you're good. You don't need safety
Throw on the
glasses.
safety
then.
squints and you're good to go, dude.
That's what they say.
Well, Big Wrench, did you ever think that you'd be sitting on a podcast?
No, not at all.
How long ago did we meet? You've been working on our pieces of junk for a long time.
I was on my way back here today. I think it's been 4 years.
Really?
of working on our junk.
Yeah, on and off.
I think it was even before that.
It could have been.
Mike's coming, but
Whenever you guys bought those 2 race sleds from Lavallee.
that's right. You
Oh.
built the cans for it.
Yeah.
So that would have been like 2018.
So that was even before Tiny.
Yeah.
Definitely wasn't as as much as it is now. That's
No,
for sure.
it was just sporadic. Like,
Yep.
And so we had a mutual friend, Rob.
Yep.
And Rob and I were working at the same place. And Rob's like, hey, these guys just bought these things from Lavallee. You want to come? They want cans built for them. Yeah, sure, whatever. And I think we got a hold of Mike is the one that got a hold.
Yeah.
of
Yep.
Yep.
I knew Jake
Yep.
a little bit. But
Isn't it amazing how like things just
Evolve.
evolve
the
and
funniest,
turn
the
into it.
funniest thing is like Jake's dad and myself he's older than I am, but like we went to the same parties in high school.
really?
Yeah.
Man, that's a story probably for another day. I'm
We
sure
gotta
you got
get
plenty.
Dave on here for that.
Like
Yeah.
I was just a little guy then, but
I still remember the very first time that Mike ever like came back from like working with you. I can just picture it, knowing you and knowing Mike. And you guys will agree here when you hear this. Mike goes, yeah, I got this guy right outside of Holly building my snowmobile can. And I was like, really? Outside of Holly? That where? You know, there's not that many like kind of fabricator mechanics, like I guess,
yeah.
you know, that are like doing like little one-off projects like that. And he was like, yeah, actually like just down the road from like my mom's house. And so I told him, I was like, yeah, I just grew up down the road from here. And he was like, nice. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I still remember that being like, I can just picture Mike like talking about nothing and going nowhere, and you just being like,
Not saying a word.
what is this? What is this kid talking about right now? Yeah, I can imagine he came to you and was like, yeah, we got this YouTube channel and we make snowmobile content and things like that, but just explaining it in like the worst way. And you'd be like, okay, you want a can for this then or what?
Yeah. Well, and it happened to be that I was already making cans for other projects, so it kind of worked out.
Yeah. So like let's get in kind of the backstory of your wrenching and how it's evolved because you basically started off you were a professional snowcross mechanic.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Would that be the title?
Yep. And I mean, basically, kind
Still
of
are.
currently are.
Still are.
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing that then?
I started doing that in 1997.
97. God damn.
For Yamaha?
Polaris.
Oh, for Polaris.
I did engine development and some chassis stuff at Polaris when I went out of tech school.
So you went right into snowmobiles
Yeah.
when you were okay.
Snowmobiles, and then morphed into engine development on watercraft side of it for Polaris also.
So you get out of school, you start wrenching on snowmobiles. Snowmobiles right away? Or like watercrafts and then snowmobiles?
Yeah. We graduated in the spring, and I went in as a test driver, but when they hired me, but it was springtime. So like I ended up working on the assembly line all summer.
Which they hired you to ride sleds? Like,
Yeah, like I test drove the first year.
okay,
that
so
I
what's
worked.
test driving? Like you ride and you,
Like-
because you understand the engineering side of it, so you understand why things work or don't?
Yeah,
Or like,
and so like back then there was 100 test riders at Polaris.
Oh.
Like it's a lot different now. There was 5 of you in a group, and you went out and rode every day.
Man.
wow.
That you could
Pretty
ride.
good
we,
job.
We did about
Does sound pretty sweet.
200 to 300 miles a day, and it sounds like it's a really sweet job till it's 25 below.
Yeah. And you got to go put in 300 miles.
Yeah.
Shit, maybe we should get you on a sled. I don't know. In all the years, have you even ridden anything here or driven any of the contraptions you've made?
Not on purpose.
Banshee, I think.
Oh, yeah. You rode the
voluntarily,
Banshee a
yeah.
little bit.
And I've owned like 5 of them things, so
Oh yeah.
No, that
You
is
do this.
something though. Every time you build it, I mean, not anymore, but we used to be like, "You want to ride it?" And you'd be like, "No, I'm good. I'm good."
Every once in a while, I'll see Evan finagles you onto one of the machines here and there,
Yeah.
but
scoot ski.
Yeah,
Scoot ski was
ski,
fun.
yeah.
What I thought was interesting, if you've always been in the snowmobile world, is like you've said that you didn't want to like teach your son how to ride snowmobile or like get him
No.
into that because like you have like lived and breathed snowmobiling for what 25 years, 27
Yeah,
years
going
now.
on almost 30.
So after the end of wrenching on it, you're just like, I don't even want to see one of these things.
Yeah, and that it's kind of wrecked me really. Like
Really?
I don't even own a snowmobile. I mean, you guys have been to my house. I have a boat. That's about
That's it.
And a jet ski that a tree almost fell on.
Why? Because you don't want to work on them.
Yeah, I mean, and one thing you don't want to work on it, and another thing is I've been doing like the development stuff of it for so long. Like when I ride something, all I think about is, well, this could be better, this could be better, this could be better.
Really?
So
takes
it's
all the
Really?
excitement out of it.
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
or almost all of it.
I mean, I'm sure there's guys that are in my position that are the same way. Like, I don't know, like the development guys are this. I know a lot of them are the same way. Like you ride something and all you do is pick it apart the whole time.
And that's everything, even outside of snowmobiles. Like you ride a dirt bike and you're like,
Yeah,
man,
or
I wish
four-wheeler.
four-wheeler.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So it kind of wrecks you a little bit.
Man,
Yeah,
you got to
'cause-
just have a real hard time then when you do ride one of our vehicles of like, this
Everything.
is so bad.
Well, the problem is like I built it, or Gavin built it, and it's like you have enough time to do this, and it's not going to work very well, but it's going to get the job done.
Yeah, I was gonna say
gotta
the
be even
difference
harder.
between our stuff is it's not meant to be perfect. It's like it's just not gonna be perfect because it's probably not supposed to be a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's crazy how
Not that it couldn't be, but
yeah you guys
Well,
just don't
yeah.
have the
And a
time
lot of
frame
our things are, you know, you guys understand as the wrenches of like what we're trying to accomplish and what it needs to do. Where the time really adds up is like the nitty gritty details of things. And like a lot of times you just brush right over them so we can get it done and then get the video posted. Cause like at the end of the day, the most important thing is that we just keep churning and burning.
yeah.
So like making these contraptions like 100% perfect, not really needed. It's more of like a novelty item where it's like good enough to get by. And that's quite frankly why a lot of them break. And Evan gets kind of the short end of the stick there of like, man, you just break everything. But like a lot of them just aren't meant to go much more
Yeah.
than like one video's worth. And it's so funny when you reflect back on how many things that we have built or you guys have built and we have filmed videos on. Like 95% of them break at the end of the video where it's like down to 45 minutes of use will be its lifespan.
Yeah.
And we know that and we're just like okay with it. That's why we have a
Yeah.
shop full of broken toys now.
And the biggest thing, and we say this in racing too, the biggest thing is when Ben's really good for it. Like, we just need this one last shot, and that's what's going to do it in. Like
Every single time.
Every
like
time.
Every single time.
My racer, like, we did the same thing this winter. He's like, I just going to go make one more moto, and that moto is when the thing spears the track, and he goes head over heels and sprains his ankle.
oh
You know, stuff like that.
yeah
It's always
That's,
one more
that's
time.
why you always
One-
say
okay, so
two
one
more
more-
times, skip the
Yeah,
last.
so saying
Yeah.
one more shot, one
Or
more
another.
moto, it's all the same across the board.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other thing is like we're not trying to really reinvent the wheel with these inventions or these builds. It's not like we were like this will be way better than a normal 4-wheeler. You know, we're just more. It's more so like I wonder what it would be like. You know,
And there's like the cold hard truth about when you make it too nice, too perfect, you don't want to rip it. You don't want, you know, like you don't want to break it, of course, but you don't even want to rip it
Yeah.
too hard because it's too nice.
My old instructor and a lot of guys that in the R&D shops that I've worked at, they're like, don't fall in love with the project.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they tell you.
Yeah. And then Evan comes walking in and you're like, no.
isn't I think it's really interesting though. Like you compared to other mechanics and fabricators is what really sets you apart is how much experience you have. Like you've worked on obviously snowmobiles, but you can work on cars, you can work on trucks, you can work on choppers, motorcycles, like
Yeah.
anything you can.
Yeah, it's
know your way
crazy.
around.
And I've had a ton of different types of jobs like that. And even like growing up in high school, like we built derby cars and just wrecked our own stuff, just like what you guys do, you know? But like, yeah, I worked at a chopper shop. I worked in Fargo Redline snowmobiles at one time, and then a bunch of investors bought it. I got hired, another guy got hired, and we built Dune Buggy.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were crazy.
I helped develop it, and then I went on my own, started my own welding shop, and then they hired me to build all the suspension components for them.
I always love when we start working on a project, whether it be turning some type of vehicle into a dune buggy, or the chopper was the most surprising one when you're like, oh, I hate working on these things. I'm like, what do you mean you hate working on them? We just got it. You're like, no, I've had a lot of experience with these.
I used to
Yeah.
build them.
Yeah.
So like the chopper shop that I worked for, like they worked a deal out with the Vikings, and like one of my jobs was to bring that chopper down, and Ragnar drove it on the field every home
The
game.
Minnesota Vikings, yeah. So I remember you telling me about that. So his job was to make sure, they'd get the chopper down to, the Minnesota Vikings stadium on Sunday, and
Metrodome at that time.
and he'd make sure that it was going to start, run, and all that because it's a chopper.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So like I was, he's
That's
making
true.
sure it's going to run for the game so they can do the hot lap on the field.
How often was it like the last minute things would go wrong, and then you're crawling underneath it, and you're like trying to figure it out?
Choppers, you don't have to crawl underneath, but they're notorious for like the really big bore engines. Like they just spit the starters out like that. So like I literally had one in a backpack.
Always, because you never know.
Dude, that's like all live TV. So they're like, we got to go.
But it's like things like that, and you're just like so experienced and seasoned, where it's like
That's because I'm old.
it's just because you've done so much. Like you've been in so many different industries, and like
Situations.
Ryan said, like every single time that we start working on a new project, you tell us about like a job that
That
you
I've
used to
already-
had that you used to work on, and it's like every single time that something breaks, I'm like, well, Big Wrench will fix it.
Yeah.
And you always do. It's crazy. It's
And-
actually unbelievable.
And you can like fab it up and you go, oh, if you go down to this shop over here, they'll have what we need. And then I'll call this guy and he's going to do this for us. And like, you just know how to make it happen so quick, which
Like,
is
that's just as important as knowing how to build something. It's like knowing
Who to
people,
call,
who
too,
to call,
for what
where to
parts.
get materials.
And that just comes with
Yeah.
experience and age. And I mean, a lot of my friends that I went to high school with are like do the same kind of stuff that I do.
Yeah.
Not to the level that maybe I do it, but there's
did you,
First
Your
flex I've
resume-
ever heard, dude.
Big Wrench's vehicle resume is actually nuts.
insane.
I mean, like, yeah.
It's
There's, I mean, there's
insane.
guys that
who else has one like this?
there's the guys that like know way more about certain things than I do, but maybe not so much
About everything.
You're,
Yeah.
Well, you're a
around
Swiss
it.
Army knife
Yeah.
of fabricators.
And it's dumb.
So when you went to school, you know, and you're getting started out, you're you know, a mechanic, you know how to do all these things, you're doing all these different jobs. Did you ever think it would lead to being on a YouTube channel,
No.
doing what you're
I
doing?
didn't know what YouTube was till about 3 years ago.
That's yeah. What did you think of us when we first came into your life? Of obviously we explained kind of when Mike was doing it, but the first time that you really had worked on one of our projects
Maybe
was
like
Tiny,
like
right?
Tiny, yeah.
Yeah. What did we have you do for Tiny the first time?
no,
New motor, new
No, that
transmission.
was second, but we
New
dropped the.
transmission.
Yeah, was it the transmission out of it?
No, because you guys blew the
we
motor
like
up
went right
away.
for the motor swap.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we motor swapped it.
Yeah, it blew up when it was silver. Then you painted
Yeah.
it green.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it green after?
I don't know.
It's hard to
It
remember.
was a long
with that
time ago,
thing.
but I remember you had it sitting in your shop for a while. You had to look at that ugly thing.
Well, and I was doing like other jobs too. So
But that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to rewind back on that a little bit. Like I remember when I somehow got in contact with you to build
Through Rob.
snowmobile exhaust. Yeah, through Rob. To build snowmobile exhaust for our race sleds, for Jake and I's race sleds, because they didn't make them. And then you built them, and you're like, yeah, that should be pretty easy. And then you're like, here's your cans, and I'm like, dude, this guy just built a can from scratch. This
And
is
it-
awesome. Yeah,
and it works.
and it works. It worked great. And I'm like, and then he was just like building someone some stairs out of metal. Like you had like that project going. And then shortly after that, we reached out to you to do the motor swap, and I'm like, dude, what is this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts though, as far as like what are these fucking idiots
Bunch
doing?
of
Or
boneheads.
what were you
You
thinking?
know, a little bit, but I get it. Like it's not my generation, but you see stuff like that. Like even my kids are like, yeah, I'm gonna. Not that they're gonna grow up and be YouTubers, but they're like, yeah, it's like a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
So I'm open to a lot of things. That, I mean,
Right.
even when you ask me, like, can this be done? Well, yeah, anything can be done.
Yeah, you do always say that.
I think
You
that's
do
an
always say that.
interesting thing that probably is the reason that both of you guys got your jobs is when Ben or all of us would come and go, can you make this crazy thing? Like, let's go putting Ken's Bronco up on a pole. Anyone with a good brain would be like, I don't even want to be involved in that. And we go, can you get it done in a week? And you go, yeah, anything can be done. That is always your answer to whatever project we
That
have.
is
Anything
probably-
can be done.
That was the probably most stressful thing that I've done here.
The Bronco?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I didn't want the thing to
You didn't
fly.
want to.
And
because
we
of
are
his
legit
design.
breathing down his neck of like watching each weld be made of like, all right, Big Wrench, are you done yet? Ken is gonna be here in 45 minutes.
My favorite fact is Big Wrench was up on the lift welding the hold the stabilizations on the pole as the Bronco was being lifted in the air.
We were really down to the
and
wire.
we're like, Big Wrench, how close? How many sides is it welded on right now? And he goes 3, and we go, fuck it, it's fine.
with a 110 welder in a 30
Yeah,
mile an
and
hour
a-
wind.
Yeah.
Up on the freaking lift. Oh my god.
Dude,
Like,
that was-
it should have been welded off on all
I think-
4, and we just called it good at 3.
The morning before when I was measuring up the platform to raise it up there, I was like, Ben, this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
I didn't watch you build it, but the platform was truly impressive. I'm like, how is this gonna work? And then you're
cradle?
like, I kind of rolled up. I don't know what I was doing, but I rolled up, and you guys were like, Brian built all of it. It's gonna work, and then it really did. You know, like you drive the Bronco onto the platform, and then it lifted it up. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, and those
So-
welds are still holding to today.
I know.
I
It's
know.
crazy.
Yes.
I drive by it every morning, and I'm like, God dang.
I know it's actually kind of like it would be so much funnier if they broke at this point.
It
'cause
would.
the Hummer pontoon would just come crumbling down.
I low key wanted to blow off.
I know.
I just think it would be so funny.
We were just gonna like set the pole in the dirt. A buddy of mine is a concrete guy. He's like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And then one of your
thank
other buddies
goodness.
had that pole.
Yeah.
The other
Pipe.
dude,
Yeah.
the pipe. We got a project
Gavin.
going right now. I don't want to say what is going on because we got a mole somewhere.
And we got people stealing our ideas. That's
Yeah,
another story, though.
That too. We've got a project going right now, and the entire thing has been sourced from Big Wrench's buddies. And there's like 5 different pieces that all had to come together, and they're all a different buddy. It's actually incredible.
So,
Dude, shout out Big Wrench's
Here's
buddies.
one funny thing. The one buddy this morning when I went to pick up the final puzzle piece, he knows that I work for you guys, and he's like, "Hey, isn't he buddies with Cletus?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I've never met him, but." He's like, well, I got a buddy that races with him all the time down there. Goes to his place all the time.
Oh, we got buddies of buddies.
Just small world.
Yeah.
The wrenching community is a tight-knit group.
Shopify is the best way to sell online, period. Our website, CboysTV.com, was created with Shopify. We absolutely love it. We hope that you guys who are our visitors do too. Each week, Shopify supports this podcast and our business by giving us a quality platform to sell our merchandise on, and we really, really appreciate them. If you're looking to start your business, especially an online one, they will support you guys too. Take it from me, Shopify is the best option to start and run your online business. They have everything that you could possibly need, from a killer mobile app, endless amounts of applications to help you market and sell better, AI integrations that can fill out frequently asked questions, and much more. And once you start selling, Shopify makes getting paid simple by instantly accepting every type of payment. And the best part is Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way, because businesses that grow with Shopify. We love using Shopify, and you will too. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/wideopen, which is all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/wideopen now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/wideopen. Mando is clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours, which is a pretty long time. Probably too long to go without a shower, but hey, it's happened to us all at some point in our lives. Sometimes when we're out filming videos, you never know what's going to happen. You know, maybe first you're running around filming one of Ken's new cars that finally just got here, and then all of a sudden your girlfriend wants to go out for dinner. You want 72-hour control, and it's something that I really love about Mando. Mando is created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. And Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough for the toughest body odor, but gentle enough to use everywhere on your body. Mando is aluminum-free, baking soda-free, cruelty-free, dye-free, and vegan. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Luckily for you guys, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code WIDEOPEN at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. That's code WIDEOPEN at shopmando, shopmando.com.
So do people come up to you like on the streets now? Do they recognize you, or like when you're going out, does people come up and ask you stuff like that, or not so
Yeah, or
much?
like my kids as friends.
Yeah.
You know, my kids are teenagers, so it's a lot of them are like interested in it and like obviously want merch or whatever.
Yeah.
But my son's a little bit on the shy side, I would say. So he's kind of more like, I don't really want to talk about you and what you do, and
Yeah, he just keeps
which
it
is
quiet.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But-
Good kid. He's packing merch right now.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
kid.
He's kind of a chip off the old block, because that's why we ask, like, what'd you think of us in the beginning? Because like until you spend a lot of time with you, you're kind of a man of few words.
yeah.
So like when we would have the tiny project going, or another project that we had you do was when we blew up that brand new Polaris snowmobile.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a funny story.
yeah.
So
We.
this was like, yeah, you guys say we, but
You said we.
or, I mean, you guys say
It's
it was
hard to
me,
say because we
I
all.
didn't say it
but
was you.
so basically, I'll tell the story now because enough time's passed. So it was like was it our first snowmobile we had
First.
ever
It's
been
like
given?
the first year of the 850. I think.
Yeah, so we get this brand new snowmobile, and like everyone's riding the thing, and we're going riding for the day. And I don't even think I had ridden it yet. I hadn't ridden it once. I think maybe you guys, I don't know who was riding it before, but someone was riding it before. They bring it in, then I hop on it. We go riding like few miles down the road, and the thing just seizes up.
Blows
up.
got like 85 miles. on it max.
Blows up. I don't fucking know. I was just riding the thing. Like I'm not doing anything crazy. And basically it ran out of oil or something like that. We didn't put oil
That'll
in it.
do it.
I'm
But
pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
ran
what
out
it
of
was.
oil. And everyone got mad at me, but the thing is like the oil light would have came on.
Dude, the oil light never came on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never came.
because
Exactly.
like you guys wouldn't have just handed it to me and been like, hop on it and ride it. So the oil light never came on. So anyways, we have this brand new snowmobile that we got gifted, and back then we didn't have
It was
excess
much more
cash.
stressful.
Yeah, we didn't have excess
What are we
cash
gonna
to,
do?
and like we can't ask these guys like, hey, we just ran your sled out of oil that you just gave us.
Yeah.
You know, because that's a pretty bad look. So then,
Can we get another one?
so Big Wrench came in and did a motor rebuild on it, and then we were back in action.
Yeah, that was like your first project.
Yeah,
course. You had to be like,
so
God,
you
these
had to be
guys
like,
are
these guys are
dumb."
fucking idiots. They just ran this sled out of oil. Like they didn't put oil in it, and
That is like
that is the stupidest thing that could happen.
Like thing as like a motorhead.
The light didn't come on. It truly never did come on.
That was the
But
issue with that is like
it's
it was a
tough to-
community sled, so nobody
Nobody-
took ownership of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody thought to check anything on it, and
That's right.
light never came on. But yeah.
Circling way back, you had said that the Bronco on the pole was by far your most stressful project, or was your most stressful project?
Yeah, probably.
Sketch.
Like
Because
like,
of the money and
well, and like I didn't know if it was going to hold or not.
Yeah.
there was no
Yeah,
way to
like-
test it.
Like
Easy.
obviously, I'm not going to say nah, it's not going to hold. Like
Yeah.
I 50-50 chance. But
well, little do we know
50-50.
it's still up there, dude. A Hummer.
Oh
you
my
got to
God.
play. You got to play the average.
Yeah, true.
I want to do more. I've seen
More
comments.
polls?
Yes.
We just have like
Some-
10 vehicles.
Yes. Some I don't know. Yeah,
Oh.
I don't want to make it like I don't want to overdo it or whatever, or maybe that's Cheeto or silly, but like I think there's certain builds that we have that won't see another driving day. Some of them are kind of just for looks.
I wouldn't mind like a fake Lamborghini up there,
Yeah.
but the
I-
fake Lamborghinis are so good. So
yeah.
I was just going to say like I backed that 4x4 Lamborghini out of the storage shed. That thing might as well go on the pole.
You think so?
Oh, really?
I mean, it's pretty.
Really?
they're fake
mean,
Lamborghinis.
I'm not
I think
saying
if
shouldn't,
I think
but-
if Gav or I got to spend like a few days fastening stuff down,
Yeah.
it might be all right.
it might be
like the
enough to stay
entire-
on the pole.
the entire
or you might
body?
get one more video.
It was a
out of
good rig. It
It
just
was,
it
but-
shook apart after
Yeah.
Moab
Moab.
and the other sand
We beat it up.
we did. But I remember when you first came on, you were like, I mean, I don't need to be on camera or anything. Well, we're like, well, be easier, you know, if we could have you on camera. Like, do you mind? You're like, no, I don't care. I'll be on camera. And now it's like, you know, it just kind of slowly evolves
Yeah.
into people recognizing you out on the street.
I think back to just like times before we had you and Gavin here, when it was just you. I can't believe that we were able to accomplish as much as we were with just you. And then without you, I can't believe that we were even able to function with like doing anything. But it was just like, it was a different time of our YouTube career where I think we were forced to just think different. And, you know, we didn't have like the leg of creativity of builds to lean on. And, you know, it's been like a huge blessing for one, just like our creative capabilities of like what we can build now because we have you two. Overall, like I think our channel is so much better because of what we can build. And it's just like
No doubt.
now, you know,
Yeah,
now we are like so much
That's awesome to hear. Plus-
farther along
Plus,
than
like,
we were before.
like you 5 guys are like when we sit in these like the planning meetings and stuff, it's like crazy what one little comment
Can turn
Spurs.
sparks
yeah.
into like a whole build.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually,
And like I can't think of that myself. Like one person, it's tough for one person to think of something like that. Like it takes a group of guys to do that.
it
Yeah.
is. And people ask that all the time. Like, how do you guys come up with your ideas? And I'm like, honestly, we are so good at knowing what's going to do well on YouTube and what people will click on at this point. Like, you just take one thing and then you just twist it a little bit and then you add one thing to it and then you go into the vault of like, all right, what has worked before? What vehicles do we have? What can we combine? Who can we surprise it with? And like, I don't know, we've just gotten so good at that over the years of like training your brain how to creatively think. And it is fun having like you guys a part of our creative meetings now, where we're just like coming up with the most abstract ideas. And now it's like we have so many ideas and so many different builds and so many different motor swaps and so many different just contraptions that we could build. A lot of them take more than like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Some of them take like 8 weeks, 12 weeks. And then it's just like, well, it's not worth tying you guys up. Yeah. So like ideally, you know, we find another set of you guys and we just continue to add to the team, but then we got to have more space to build it. And then we got to, there's just like so many different factors to it. But
I mean, for the little bit that I know of what you guys do, I mean, I can't do what you guys do and whatever, but
we can't do
Vice
what you
versa.
do. Yeah.
yeah. And so it takes all of us, but to figure out like how to package that type of video. Like, you know, I've read some of the comments on some of the videos. They're like, oh, we need to see like a more involved build, you know, video type of thing. But like, how do you do that with the schedule that you guys already have? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't realize too, is like we're filming 3 videos at once because these builds take so much time. You know, you can't just like solely focus on one thing. And it'd be nice if you could, but it's not possible. So it's like managing all these different things and having, you know, getting the shots for the build. And it's like, how intricate do we want to go? Because we're trying to apply to the masses. We're trying to have the masses be entertained. And like, I think maybe 30% of our audience is like motorhead, gearhead, where they'd even understand if what you guys were explaining, what you're doing, you know, and then the other 70% would almost just check out for that. So it's like, you got to stay broad enough with it, which I think we've done a good job
and
of.
it's not like it's a learning channel.
Right.
That too. Yeah.
I think the key word you said there was package, like the way that, you know, we do all this and then package it into the video. Like that's really cool that you know that just from being on the inside. I mean, you just, you know, from day to day and seeing how everything rolls. And that's what people don't understand on the outside. Like, why didn't it go? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you show that? It's just like, sometimes it's just the overall packaging of it. And
the way it should go,
there's so many little factors into just running this, from doing this idea meeting like you're talking about. Someone says one little comment and then this person says something and then it just evolves into this thing. Like, sometimes people are like, who came up with that idea? And it's like, I don't even know. Like, we were all just in there and then it was just like, all of a sudden we were plan on doing this, and it just like evolves.
Some say evolve, some say spiral.
Yeah, spiral. But
it is crazy, yes. And sometimes it's literally like a late night text that you're just firing out there because you're like, I don't even know if this is anything.
Or like the idea gets said and then it changes because it's like, okay, well, how do we actually make this happen and or whatever. But no, that's cool that you pick up on that as well.
Yeah, I always tell people, when it was like when you first came on, everyone's like, how is, because you were like our first hire, and they're like, how is it with Big Wrench? I'm like, dude, Big Wrench makes our dreams come true. That's what our ideas are, our dreams in a sense. And then now it's Big Wrench and Gavin make our dreams come true, because we have a lot of good ideas, and they come to fruition.
And it's like, you want to do them all like this week.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. It's hard for me, and I'm sure it's hard for Gavin too. Like, there's 7 things on that list that I'd rather do than what I'm doing this week.
Well, you'll know you'll get to it eventually.
That's the thing.
Before we get too deep in this, I want to get Gavin on here, since now we're kind of talking about how crucial it is to have more members of the team. So, Gav, you come in here. I'll go back in Ken's spot since he's on vacation these weeks.
Yeah.
Ken's on vacation.
So-
He's in Mykonos.
I got a question for both of you guys here. So obviously we have you doing such obscure jobs. You know, like everything you're doing, like who the frick is doing that kind of stuff? Like, are you still constantly learning just from
definitely. Like I strive to learn something new every day.
I'm sure you guys probably are, because I mean, who else like for these things you're doing? You can't just be like, oh, let me look it up on the internet, or let me call this person. Like, no one else has done most of the things.
And it's whether you learned something that is of value, or you learn something that, hey, don't do that again.
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing.
It's also a value. Yeah.
What do you think like the worst, most stressful part wrenching for us is? Our timelines?
The timeline, yeah. The timeline's ridiculous.
Yeah, not knowing what's coming up next. Like,
well,
it can change every hour.
What a lot of people don't see is like, we have a build, but there's 15 other things that you get pulled every day, plus you get that build done.
I would say weekly, like there's the long-term build, like you're kind of talking about, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, and then daily you're being pulled for something, whether it's something real quick and small, or whether it's like, hey, this week's video needs something that you are crucial for, and you get pulled for the whole day for that.
What were you working on when I called you about the triple bike?
Cybertruck, I think.
Cybertruck,
Okay, so all right, so good example. So
which we only got 4 days to do.
so
That was
let,
fucked.
let me explain this timeline out. Ken buys his Cybertruck, and we filmed the first part of the Cybertruck video with it. We thought it was great, but we wanted to do something with it entertaining enough to title it around Ken buying a Cybertruck and not just have it like as like a B bit in like the back end of a video. We were like, if we make this more entertaining and do something with it, build it out, we can make this into more of a video bit. So we're like, okay, what could we do? What could we do? Evan goes, buy me a normal Chevy, and I'll prove that Ken's Cybertruck isn't better than a 90s model Chevy. And I was like, okay, that's a pretty good idea. Well, what if we made the Chevy then look like a Cybertruck, so then it was funnier of what you were doing with the Chevy, and it wasn't just you big dicking in a Chevy, right?
And I'll stop you there really quick. These two's worst nightmares when Ben's brain starts hamster wheeling.
Literally.
Yeah, at midnight.
That shit
Literally. In the meantime, Gavin is working on the mini truck turbo build,
And
and
the clutch was just screwed in it.
oh god, that was a nightmare too. But so I'm thinking, all right, what is Gavin doing? What's Big Wrench doing? I go, okay, I'm gonna call Big Wrench and pitch him this idea and see what his reaction to it is, and then that'll justify, or that'll let me know if it's possible or not. And if it sounds somewhat possible, I'm gonna push for it. I call Big Wrench. I go, hey, what are you doing? I'm working on this or that, which is what you know, for the video next week. I go, okay, sweet. Do you think that building a Cybertruck by next Thursday is possible? And it's Wednesday at this point. And normally I would be like, we need one more bit for tomorrow's video. Can we do it in one day? So I felt like asking for a week was pretty good. And you're like, yeah, I mean,
Get a truck coming now. That's usually what I say.
yeah, if he goes, yeah, if you have a truck here tomorrow, then we can start on it, and it might be possible. That was Wednesday. Truck gets there on Thursday. You guys start on it on Friday. Memorial Day weekend takes Monday off. So then you only had Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. So like started it on Friday.
I think we started on Thursday because I think I had it completely torn down.
Started on Thursday.
Yeah.
Ken sees it. We tell him it's a boat. He buys it. I don't care what he says. And then you guys have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to finish making it look like a Cybertruck. While you were doing that, go, hey, Big Wrench, do you think that you could take the tandem pit bike and put a third pit bike on it? And you're like, dude, I'm working on this Cybertruck for next week's video. And I go, yeah, but that's next week's video. Can you do that
for this week?
Today, for this week? And that was on Wednesday. And you're like, okay, yeah, I guess. Well, this is what really made me happy. Is I go, how long do you think it'll take? And you go, a couple hours. And that's like, let's go. That's what we like to hear. And then sure enough, you had it done in 2 hours, 3 hours. It was actually incredible. And then you guys finish up the Cybertruck Wednesday at 5 o'clock. We film it for 3 hours. Ends up breaking by 7:30. Actually insane how fast Evan worked on that one. And then it was just like, that was the end of the week. And then we started fresh on Friday.
Yeah. It's like that every week, though.
And that was like the last 2 videos that we filmed. So
Yeah.
It's a revolving gauntlet, I'd say.
yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah, you guys handle it really well. I do got to say that.
I feel like you guys felt bad for us after that whole episode because like there was really no build in this last video.
We did.
They
We
backed off
actually
early.
did, and we had to like sit down and be like, all right, we're working the wrenches way too hard on this one. Yeah, we were like, all right, okay. This timeline was actually pretty crazy. And you know what's crazy when Big Wrench is like, you guys are actually fucking nuts for this one. Usually you just kind of do it, but that one was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
turned out amazing.
If we're able to, I always hope to give you guys those days. Like I know for like you two or like merch shop for me or any podcast day for you or you two when you're editing videos, it's like on a Friday, sometimes duty calls, but like if you had to like get up on a Friday and edit another video all day, you'd be like, fudge. But yeah, try to give those breaks. But man, most of the time it's pretty cutthroat.
Well, that's like I have a lot of guys that ask me questions of like how, my age guys are like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So you explain it to them, and then it's like, it's kind of nice though, because like they edit on Thursdays, so like Thursday's kind of our day. Like we can put the wrenches back.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that Thursday after the Cybertruck was nice. Like for probably 2 hours, it was like we're just kind of cleaning up, then I kind of got bored actually.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Wait, what are we doing next?
I remember one time we were talking about, oh, this guy could maybe help or whatever, and you chimed in. It was another mechanic. Be like, he's just a parts swapper. He's just parts swapping, and like you two are like, he's just part swapping, like doing like a motor, like swapping out a motor in a truck is just parts swapping.
There's technicians and there's parts changers.
Yeah.
I mean that's just the matter of fact.
But so obviously you guys are much more than a parts changer. I'd even go as far to say that you obviously don't have engineering degrees, but you could be an engineer.
Yes,
Like I
yes,
say that all the time.
yes.
Like, dude, these guys are so good. We'll be sitting here and saying this and that, and they'll be, well, we probably want to do it this way, so that way, it doesn't do this and that, and it's amazing.
I was gonna be an engineer until I got to pre-calc, and then I said, "Fuck that! I'm not doing
But
this."
yeah, I think, and that clearly benefited you as well. Like, it's so much more than just fabricating parts or being a mechanic. It's so much more than that, and that's where it actually gets tough and is also exciting. Like when you guys,
the problem solving of it
when
is
we need something done, and you're like, I wasn't expecting like the sidecars even to have suspension, and we went to the drawing board a few times with it, or you guys did, I guess, but like that was sick that it did. And like stuff like that.
Yeah, well, even Gavin and I spent a lot of time on that part of it. And once you start looking at it, it's like, well, it almost has to have suspension, otherwise it wouldn't have worked right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think we weren't going to do suspension, and then we just decided to, and ended up not
it
being
would have
that
been
bad.
way easier not to, but it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, I think you guys just understand, like, how to skirt the boundaries of what needs to be done, but also, like, we've done so many things that sometimes work and sometimes don't, and then when they don't work, we're just, like, struggling to, like, make it entertaining, so you kind of know what we need for the entertainment factor, which is really good. But
it's getting easier, not easy by no means, but it's getting easier to figure out what that needs to be,
Well, I think back to like getting better every week is like that's pretty self-explanatory as we face these different things. It's like
No, it's
And that's
amazing.
why
You guys are seriously
we're still
getting
working
better
on
every week.
like with the farm. We're still working on getting you guys the tools that allow you to, do that. Oh, if we had this tool here, it wouldn't be a one-time use thing. We'd use it every week, and if it makes it easier, then that can help everyone out.
I've never had a lot of them tools either.
Right.
And you get used to building the same stuff with less.
you still make it work.
Yeah. So like you're almost not more creative, but more like you use your mind more like, how can I do this without the tool that I need to do it with?
dude, you guys are like cavemen with some of, especially before we moved into the farm.
Yeah.
And when we were wrenching
Yeah,
here.
working out of here.
Dude, it was like nothing.
There's rocks.
We literally just had like wrenches and hammers and screwdrivers.
That's pretty much it.
There's a propane torch, but usually never had an end on it.
Yeah, I started on Sexy Red, and I'm like, I'm gonna take the next couple hours. I'm gonna go to my house and get all my equipment and bring it here because I can't do it without that.
Yeah, we're still working on equipping the farm with the proper tools, and it's been nice getting to like the size that we are, being comped for a lot of them, but like then we're working with a bunch of corporate companies and then it just takes a little bit more time. So we're trying to get everything equipped, but that was a large reason of why we built the farm, so we could have more projects going, ideally have a project going here and there, and then, but that'd be the dream world. But then we're also pulling you guys like here when they're supposed to be there, and then they're over here. But
Dude, Brian's still working on the current project at his house
yeah,
or at his shop.
yeah, literally. Now we started working at Big Wrench's place
So
because we got
sometimes we need to keep secrets.
yeah, because we got a mole somewhere.
If there wasn't for the moles, we'd be fine.
We need a third secret filming location now that like nobody knows
I
about.
can I can tell you what I don't need is another group chat. Like, I can't even figure out like
Yeah, you're kind of slipping up on it a couple times.
We just
last
made-
week I did. I'm like,
Because me and CJ and Big Wrench are in one specifically for this project that Big Wrench is working on, and
it was late at night too.
Big Wrench on Wine
Probably had a
Wednesday.
couple
Wine Wednesday,
yeah.
You
sent
already know-
That's my wife's
You already
fault.
know that group chat's finna stay active.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're
You,
gonna have
CJ,
to. We're gonna have to start kind of like, honestly, Big Wrench. We might just have to start leasing your barn from you.
Yeah, that'd be fine too.
He's like, I love that.
We do that first day in. Ken puts in security
Just
cameras.
Yeah.
This is our property now.
The secret location, the Bat Cave.
Yeah.
So, Gavin, welcome on the pod. Sorry we didn't
Appreciate
really
it.
give you a
come
proper
on.
intro.
I was bummed
sorry
about
we're over
that,
here.
but
Kind of snuck in here, but Yeah, welcome, brother. You've been with us for 9 months?
8 months now.
8 months. The story of how Gavin ended up on the team is actually really, really interesting. So for like the past 2 years, I would occasionally get a DM from Gavin saying, hey, I live local to you, and I used to build exhaust, so I could build an exhaust for your Lamborghini. And I was like, who's this guy that lives local and could? I was like, you can just build me. You can just build me an exhaust for my Lambo. And it didn't really go much farther than that. But I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'll keep you in mind if we ever have like a project that we need. And then we did 100 people mow my lawn. We put out this form of like, hey, sign up for this video that we're filming. And Gavin was one of the applicants, and we selected him to come and be one of the lawnmowers. So, we're talking to everyone afterwards, and he goes, hey, I'm the guy that keeps messaging you about building you
bugging you over and over again,
a Lamborghini exhaust. And I'm like, oh, dude, yeah, no way. And I'm like, okay, so you could actually do that? And you're like, yeah, I could do like a bunch of different things. That was just kind of like my foot in the door, right? Meanwhile, Big Wrench is working on the come and swap Ford Ranger. So he was away from us for like 2 months just working on that.
Working over in the cave.
In the farm before it was the farm. Honestly, we were just like trying to figure out what to do because we'd been doing like these builds, and then we had to kind of just go back to the old style of filming with like where we had like really no wrenches to like lean on for these projects. So we're like, hey, we actually do need you really bad right now. Let me get your number. So I get your number, and that was on Saturday. We sit down in this meeting, we come up with a bunch of ideas, and we're like, well, Big Wrench can't do them. Who can do them? I go, let me call this guy that we met at the lawn mowing meetup. I call you. I go, what are you doing this week? And you're like, working my job.
Yeah,
and I'm
pretty
like,
busy, but
could you take some days off and come and help us with this project? So Gavin shows up. We tell him what we're doing, and it was the 6-foot tall pit bike and the tandem pit bike. And we were like, yeah, can you help us build it? And you were like, yeah, I mean, I can try. And you built them. And by Wednesday, we had the pit bikes done, and you crushed the build. And behind the scenes, we're like, all right, if he successfully does this in our timeline, we're going to hire him on the spot.
Yeah, I didn't really know that.
Sure. I mean, we didn't want to tell you. We didn't want to like tell you like, hey, if you do this good, we're going to hire you. And then like ends up not being good. And we're just like, yeah, man, see ya.
And you got it done in time. And on that Wednesday, I was like, hey, bro, yeah, you want to come and work for us full time?
Both those rigs still work to this day.
And then you were like, yeah, I would love to, but like I have to like finish my other job for the next couple of days. I was like, okay, can you start on Monday? And you were like, okay, I can start on Monday. Give me Thursday and Friday to close up my loose ends.
My boy got pressed.
Yeah, I was self-employed, so it kind of worked out. I could kind of
Well, it was interesting. You were like, yes, this is a great opportunity. I do have to button some other stuff up, and then you button it up real fast.
I did work pretty hard last
And then
fall
I'm like, whoa.
Yep.
It's one thing to put your 2 weeks in. It's another thing to be like, all right, here's what's going to happen with my business. What did happen?
It's kind of a seasonal business, except for I do snow removal in the winter, so I just didn't sign any of those contracts.
It's like property management.
Yep. So I finished up the fall stuff, like wrapped everything up, took all the docks out, did all the yard cleanups, and then closed up shop.
Unfortunately, you have to find somebody else.
The thing with you, Gav, is you undersold yourself heavy. Like, we have people come up to us all the time and say, oh, I can do this, I can do that. And, we've given them shots at whatever it was there. And, like, oftentimes they fail, honestly. And you were just like, you undersold yourself. Like, yeah, I can make some exhaust for you. I'll make exhaust. And we're like, that sounds great. But, like, how many things do we really need an exhaust for?
Right.
That's not originally what you said to me, but I still agree that you undersold yourself.
I think the thing about you, though, Gav, that we learned real quick, which obviously, we were stoked about your talent of what you could build, but you were just a grinder. And, like, the biggest thing for us is, like, our crazy deadlines and our wild ideas. But, like, we work 24/7. And it's hard to have an employee that you hire on because we don't expect that from anyone that we're, like, hiring on. You guys are salary, but, like, a lot of times it's more than 40 hours a week. And, we don't expect you to do more than 40 hours a week, but you do. And that's like the biggest thing. Like, we couldn't ask that of you, but you're just a grinder, bro. And that's why you fit the team so well. Like,
super skilled too.
I think you worked like every single weekend for the first like 3 months.
Oh, yeah.
And it got to the point where I was like, bro, you don't
Take a
have
day off,
you
yeah.
do not have to work on the weekends. And you're just like, no, I'm just like, I like working and
Yeah,
I
that's what-
appreciate the
yeah.
opportunity. And we were like, dude, we appreciate that too. You know, like that goes really far.
That's kind of what I'm used to, though. Like, I mean, I've owned a couple different businesses over the years, and that's the way you have to do it when you own the business.
Yeah.
You keep working, and then did some agriculture stuff too, and it's the same story there. You work every day until the job's done, and so
That's
it's
what I was
that's,
really-
Unfortunately
why-
for you, the
Yeah.
job is never
Yeah,
done.
never done.
here it's
Yeah.
never done.
But
right?
that's what I was impressed too. Is like, so when you first started, there was the excitement of being with the crew, and the biggest thing is Gavin's a good guy, so we get along really well with him. Like, you know, we're hanging out after work, and I was like, I wonder how long he's gonna like hang out till 9 or 10 or 11 every night or almost every night. Like, we enjoyed it. I'm just like, how long is that gonna last? And then it almost went the other way, like where you still stayed till that time, but you almost started working longer.
Yeah, I
Whether
think
we're hanging or working, you're here
grinding it out. Yep.
grinding it out.
that is the cool part too. Is you know, like everyone that we've added to the team is like, you know, they just become one of our friends, and you know, you're coming with out on sprinter van nights when we're
Out on the boat,
when we're
yep.
going out on the boat. And Big Ranch, you're always invited too, but
Yeah.
you never seem to show up or
It's-
want to come because like
I'm-
you're always
I'm-
like, I'm hanging out with my family.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a wife and 3
I have-
kids
My
at
wife
home.
and kids.
I have a little bit different
I gotta go
situation.
to my son's
Yeah.
baseball game.
I was like,
I'm just kidding. It's okay too.
on the way here, it was the same deal. We're like, hey, let's do the pod.
Yeah,
at
what'd you have going
2:30.
on?
I had to bring Eli to baseball.
Can't
That-
we get
so
those kids
actually,
a
that
pedal
brings
bike
up-
or something?
That brings up a good point. Big Wrench is not my dad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually yeah.
my other son. Yeah.
I wanted to clear the air on this now that we have you both here. There, we started what ended up
Ben-
kind of becoming
Ben
a dirty
started it.
rumor. Ben
Yeah,
started.
Ben's bad joke.
I think it was just a joke, and it just.
I mean, it
went.
made
People,
sense.
but the way you
was
the way you put it
so
out there, it
convincing.
was casual,
And
and
it was
people
like
bought
one of a handful of trolls that were completely uncleared up.
Yeah.
I cleared it up in a later video, but what
No, I
was
don't
done
think
was
you did.
done.
yeah, once you
I don't
get it
think you did.
going, it's
No,
tough to
I
clear
had
something
cleared
like
it
that.
up, but I think it was too far.
Yeah.
But in that video, you just kind of nonchalantly
Yeah.
were like, "Oh yeah,
It was believable.
Oh, yeah, by the
Gavin's
way-
actually not Big Wrench."
Didn't like your
yeah.
wife's like sister or aunt or
my
cousin
wife,
was just
my wife's cousin. This was probably a month after the fact. She texts my wife and she's like, "Does Brian have something to say to the family?"
like she thought he just had this kid out there that he like was just
She's-
ignoring after all these
And-
years.
and she was talking to her mom, which my wife's aunt, and she's like, "I didn't know Brian had an older child."
He's just
And I'm
never
like,
mentioned
I
or brought
don't.
around.
I
Yeah.
was born the year after you graduated high school,
Yeah.
so it would be one of those
Could line
situations.
up.
It could have
but,
been,
yeah.
yeah.
Could line
But
up.
it is not.
Yeah, everybody. It's not. He's not my dad.
Yeah, and then that kind of goes to the next thing. Big Wrench came on before Gavin. Not that we're asserting that he is a better wrencher than you, but he just got the name Big Wrench because it's kind of like, that's funny. You're like, hey, go get the big wrench because like we're just a bunch of little wrenches around here. And then you come in and you're kind of the second wrench, and we're just like, well, what do we call him? Little Wrench, like just as a joke. And then it kind of caught on, but you don't seem to like Little Wrench.
I'm not a big fan of that one.
You don't want to be known as Little Wrench.
I really would rather not.
Yeah, I mean, understandably. I mean, Big Wrench definitely has got the better
Yeah.
end of the deal on that one.
Yeah, there hasn't been any Little Wrench merch yet. I wonder why.
No, do you think? Do you
Little
Sell
Wrench.
better, dude.
I think you gotta like try and like sell some kind of mystery behind it because you're a single guy. So maybe like when you're out at the bars, like if you were actually going by Little Wrench, like people could come up and you'd be like, that's what they say, but I mean, you'd have to just find out for yourself.
Yeah,
And
I
then
could play that.
the
I could
mystery-
play
I
that
think it
angle.
would work. I think it would work. There'd be like some mystery behind it. Like, I got to find out if it's true or not.
My wife's
Yeah.
gonna shoot me, but there is times like Wednesday after filming, it's like, I'm going home, but man, if I was another 10 years younger,
What?
I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be going home right now.
Just be running around with us. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, you and
that's
Evan
fine.
just
yeah,
being a-
wait. I was gonna say if you could if you can hang with us, you'll be good as long as you don't get tied up with that Evan guy. man.
Yeah.
Well, and that happened a couple times last summer.
Oh yeah. Evan
Maybe-
would say that, and he's like, "Yo, me and Big Ren shut down the bar last night." I'm like, "Dude, you are such a bad
Bad
influence."
He
influence.
is. He really
I'm
is.
like,
I'd go
"You
home and I'd be-
corrupted Big Wrench."
I'd go home and I'd be like, yeah, Evan, he didn't have nobody to eat with. So
Nobody to
felt
hang out with.
I would
for him.
eat with him.
I
Felt
was
bad for
wondering
the
how you
little
said
guy.
that. I
My
wondered
wife's
how-
gonna watch this now, and she's gonna be like,
She's gonna know you're not
Yeah,
gonna be
you
able to
showed
stay
your
late
cards.
anymore.
Fine.
I
No.
always wondered if you told her like, "Oh, the boys just got me grinding on this project."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're drinking
Just
Tony's
chilling.
and
No,
hanging.
you know
but-
we've been married long enough where she knows all my tricks. So
No, Evan always told me he was in a good way. He was just genuinely excited. He go, yeah. So last night, me and Big Wrench drinking Tony's till midnight.
midnight. Yeah.
Good time. He
I'm
just
not
kept
getting
hanging.
tattoos or nothing.
Exactly.
Gavin, you were close though, right?
I was gonna do it, and then
uh,
I bailed at the last minute.
As far as the tattoos go, yes, I was fully jotted down on his thigh, shaved and
Oh,
everything.
we did a couple
Stenciled
revisions
with
even.
a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
we
wow.
even kind of scribbled off the parts that looked whack and then went for it. You like walked around the pool table for 3 minutes and we're like, I'll just hold off. And then I'm like, that's all good. It'll be sick when you get it later. And you're like, I'll let you know.
I think
Should've had
Gavin's
another Tony.
Yeah, Gavin's too dialed of a person to have a half-assed tattoo or something not completely perfect that's going to be permanent on him. Which
That's fair.
I
yeah.
mean, I completely.
Yeah, or at least for the first one.
it makes complete sense to me.
I still think you got to do it, Siege.
I think
7
what you
guys,
guys
yeah.
got is sick. Like it's the perfect number. But if all of us are out on the boat and then we have some other people hanging with us that maybe aren't our first group of friends, they're gonna be
Maybe-
like, these
maybe
guys
they
are.
aren't
It's pretty
life wide open.
cultish,
Depends on-
like
and
you
also
just all of you got the same tattoo in the same spot. You
Depends
all
on where
wear.
you put it.
Such a
Like,
boy band.
I
You're
don't
wearing-
wear short enough shorts to even show my.
I don't either, but I feel like on the boat, your pant leg comes up,
Oh, that's
whatever.
What I'm saying.
You'd
Depends
see
on
it.
where
Just
you
in
put it.
general, even like right now, like my shorts probably high enough, and I mean I wear a life wide open hat, life wide open shirt, life wide open fucking swim trunks, life
Hey,
wide open socks. Pretty
hey,
soon it's
you
like
guys-
we're life wide opened out.
Yeah, that's true.
Not gonna
Whenever-
lie, I'd probably have to kick my own ass if I did that.
Yeah.
How much would you regret that one waking up?
Probably quite a bit.
Really.
Do you have any tattoos, Brian?
I don't. My wife does.
When we were in Vegas with our grandpa Ron, we were trying to get a tattoo. of
We wanted him to do it
Me,
with
CJ, and Grandpa Ron, and he was the one
a
that wouldn't do
tattoo
it.
of you guys?
Oh
or-
no! We were like, no,
That'd
no,
be crazy.
no. I told him I was like, I'll get Grandpa Ron tattooed on me.
Yeah.
of-
If you get Ben and CJ tattooed, and he wouldn't do it, and I was like, no
Wow.
offense, Grandpa, but like,
I'm
I kind of got more to lose
very
here. like-
surprised by that.
Yeah, and his reasoning was like, well, if I got you two, I'd have to get all 8
Yeah,
grandchildren. And I was like, fuck it, get all 8.
I think he
No,
didn't want to
you're
do it
just
when
like,
the
dude,
other kids weren't there.
Your other grandchildren aren't YouTubers.
Yeah, but they'd be
They're taking you to
stoked.
Vegas.
Like
No.
Grandpa Ron, like sends them just like a photo of his leg, and it's got their
Oh,
name on
yeah.
it.
He didn't want to do
Tough,
it.
too. Having a Grandpa Ron tattoo is way cooler than having a Ben and CJ tattoo.
That's very true.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
actually a good
actually
point. I don't think
very
having a
true.
That's,
Ben
I don't blame
yeah.
him one bit
Yeah.
for not wanting
I
it.
don't
And
think-
CJ.
I don't think a Ben
I regret
and CJ
this one.
tattoo is lame, but
having a
yeah.
Ren and Stimpy
So
tattoo.
lame, dude.
That is.
so lame.
That is. It kind of is the same idea as when we all had our nipple piercings and we took them out before we went to Florida. Like, what? We're going to have all 6 of us walking around on the beach with our nipples pierced, rolling in a group. It's kind of the same. The nipple piercing, I'd say, is a little bit more apparent, but
I will say the nipple piercing was weird, and I'm glad I missed out on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys kind of got in after that phase.
Yeah, gosh, that had to hurt, didn't it?
Oh, it was
yeah.
terrible.
Was that nipple piercing worse than the tattoo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what Evan said. The tattoo was not even close to the nipple piercing.
The
I guess
nipple
if
piercing
somebody
was
was like, you're either doing this or you're doing this, I'd probably get a tattoo.
tattoo over
Yeah.
a nipple
The nice thing
piercing?
about the nipple
100%.
piercing is you can
You can
take
take
them
it
out.
out.
So yeah, I was gonna say, let's say 2-3 months from now, I hate the tattoo. Then I'm gonna be like, I wish it was a piercing.
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
but a tattoo is way cooler than a nipple piercing. If
Exactly.
Brian had a
Well,
tattoo, I'd
across
be
the
like, cool.
board.
But if he
Dude.
was walking around with his nipple pierced, I'd be like, I don't know about that guy, man.
Honestly,
I was one
You
day.
should get a hot dog tattoo, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. That's next.
that would actually be fitting.
We
it
can
on
do
the
that
other
tonight
leg.
if you want.
I don't wanna.
No,
we
let's
got the
do
gun.
it.
Just
Yeah.
like a very like simplistic hot dog
Can you
drawing.
imagine? They clearly look the same. I get a brat tattoo, and I'm like, it's
a brat. It's not a hot dog. It's a brat.
And you're like, looks the same to me, bro. I'm like, can you not see the thickness?
I like when that was brought up the last time, and he gets so heated about it.
Yeah, he's
Every
just
time.
lying to
Very
himself,
defensive.
too.
Well, it's like accusing.
I do agree, though,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's
there's-
like
there's a
accusing
difference.
someone
There's a big
of.
difference.
Yeah, but he likes hot dogs. He
He
just
eats a
covers
shit
it
ton of
up
hot
with.
dogs.
I
Who-
eat
who
brats,
told
too.
you that?
Mike, I've seen you eat so many hot dogs. You can't even say that you don't like hot dogs.
Take a picture every time I eat a hot dog over the next year.
I don't have enough storage on my phone, bro.
Dude, what do you want me to do? Follow you around all day? Like, I can't do that.
You got more storage?
I know. I'm not
Take-
gonna follow you around.
take
I
a
already
picture
seen you.
I got so much stuff to do, Mike. I can't just follow you around and record every meal you eat.
I just remember like
No,
when
but
I
if I eat
first
so
started
many,
noticing.
if I eat so many, you can take a picture every time you see me do it, and then you
I'm
can
just saying.
post them
I'm just
next
saying.
year.
If somebody didn't eat an absurd amount of hot dogs, they wouldn't get defensive.
Would they?
I don't know why
Okay,
you're embarrassed.
no, I'm
about it.
just
There's nothing
saying,
wrong with
like,
eating hot dogs,
Because
Mike.
I love eating pizza, and I tell they go, "What's your favorite food?" I go, "Pizza, hands down, pizza."
No,
Love
you're
pizza.
lying there.
Yeah, because you're in the
How do you
closet
know?
about eating.
Because
hot
all you
dogs,
eat is
Mike.
hot dogs, dude.
You can't tell me that somebody that doesn't eat a bunch of hot dogs wouldn't be this defensive.
If we could just bring some proof into it, like
When I first started noticing how many hot dogs Mike ate, it was in the college house when he started just putting them
and those
into
were
mac and
all
cheese
brats. Those were all brats.
Hot
They were
dogs.
literally all brats. All right, I'm done.
All right,
No, I'm
Mike's
just kidding.
out.
I'm just kidding.
Mike's out. I wanted to ask you guys what your favorite build has been and what your least favorite build has been.
Least favorite's a way harder question.
Okay, all right. Let me just go through a couple of them.
I feel like I know Gavin's just based on his time spent on it. Maybe.
Oh,
it
my
could-
favorite?
Yeah, your favorite.
Well, that's easy. Sexy Red, no question.
The
What-
turbo mini truck.
That's your least favorite?
No, that's my favorite. By far, yeah.
Is it because you spent the most amount of time on it, or
It
the
was
fact-
probably one of your first big builds, too.
It was. Yeah, it was the first big one.
And yeah,
You never forget your first big build. What was like the first real project that we had you work on, Brian?
it was the shitter cart, wasn't it?
if you
Well, that was-
consider
that
that, a
was
big
up-
build.
Yeah, that was up front for sure.
Did we do that before the pontoon?
So
Yeah, I would say
when we
that was
hired
the
you
pontoon
on,
number.
we did the 450 shifter cart.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
We did the shitter cart. I don't know what was up with the shifter cart phase that we were in.
Yeah, you
oh,
were
with
like-
the R6, you finished the R6.
Yeah, you're-
That was his
four-wheeler.
first project because that's what I was hitting you up about.
Oh, that's right.
I just got it running in the end.
You did the exhaust because like
I did the exhaust at my shop.
I finally got in touch with him and he was talking about how that's what you were doing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Oh, and then right after the shitter cart, you did the Hummer pontoon.
Yeah.
The Hummer pontoon was like one of those pitch it, see if it's possible. Okay, it's possible. Now, how fast can you do it? Now, cut that in half.
Yeah.
And then that's what we were
Well, and
pushing for.
the funniest thing about that thing is like I don't know how like it was just a wing and a prayer that thing even floated the way it did. Like to not have water come in the cab because that was what I was worried about. Like I didn't get the pontoons down low enough or the truck up high enough for the water not to flood the cab.
And it's
Yeah.
literally perfect. The water's like 3 inches
Yeah.
below the door, loaded up with
Like, you
people.
can't-
It's perfect.
that-
You couldn't have
that's-
planned it that good.
I'd like to say that was just me thinking about it, but it was just dumb luck.
Well, I think you probably just put him down close to the ground, about as close as you could.
Well, that was the biggest factor of that thing was to keep it up off high enough off
you
the
could drive
ground to drive it.
Yeah, that one is like actually really, really impressive how well it worked for how heavy that thing was.
Yeah.
Like it's like a 10,000 pound.
I was trying to do the math on it and I was Googling crap. And
that's where the lack of the engineering degrees
helps.
show.
yeah.
Well, that was
Well, that's what you got these things for.
Right.
yeah, because we
Phones.
were sitting. I remember we were sitting in the junkyard right next to the shop here, and we were looking at the Hummer, and we go, okay, do you think we could do this with 2 pontoons? And we're doing the math of
Yeah.
the buoyancy of each pontoon, and we're like, I don't think so. Probably could, but probably wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah,
and we're like,
shoulda.
then how do you do 4? How do you have the flip downs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So after that, then it was the Skootskis.
That was pretty fun. It
Besides
sucked.
the fiber.
Other than the
It sucked
fiberglass.
cutting
Yeah.
them apart because it was 95 degrees that couple days.
Yeah. Pop up the picture of Big Wrench walking around in his hazmat
My
suit.
suit.
Yeah.
Looked like Breaking Bad.
And then following that one, it was the front flip mini truck, the roll bar over it.
That one was tough because we needed a tube roller.
Right, because you had to notch it.
Well, and I notched some of it, and then like at my buddy's place, he has this huge plate roller, and we were rolling them in it. Well, then it just flattens the tube out because it's not a tube roller. But but it got the job done.
Got the job done. Broke my neck.
Yeah.
I wish he would have actually probably
and
said
that's
not
what we
to
were
do that
talking
one.
about after it was all done. I'm like, man, that's going to be a violent hit.
I think
from
everyone
this to
was
this.
saying
Yeah,
that,
except
though,
for me.
before
I
that.
100% take responsibility for that one.
We should have taken another day and put like Fox floats up front or something like that.
Probably should have. Following that one up, we did the 100-foot rail.
That was probably my biggest, like, that thing's terrible.
Yeah,
I
that,
had
that,
to-
was actually
it's
probably
fine.
the only design
used once.
flaw that you've had, Big Wrench, is
I
how
don't know that
narrow
it was
you
my design flaw.
is how narrow you put the tabs.
Well, yeah, that all comes down to, like, we're running it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it always comes back to it being our fault because you guys do always consult before you do something, and 90% of the problems are always like
Time restraints.
because we're like just
Yeah.
run it. But the 100-foot rail that Mike crashed the brand new Razor on, totaled the Razor out. But and to date has never been hit again.
I know.
Well, and Gavin chopped it down.
Yeah, I lowered it.
Like, and
Never
it's
got
still,
used again.
But it's still, like, pretty scary.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it.
Honestly, you know how Evan talks about losing sleep over like not doing Hell's Gate or whatever? I do lose sleep over that, but not in the way that I want to do it again. I just hated everything about that.
Well,
not actually doing it. I hated all the aftermath and the thought process I had after I did it.
Even the approach jump was not right.
That's what, like, the approach jump threw me off more than the tabs ever did.
Kind of jumped you onto the rail.
and the
What-
tabs would have worked if the
Yeah.
approach jump would have been higher
Yeah.
and you
Dropped
drove
right
down
on.
onto it.
But yeah, just like
Which is
just
kinda how it is
lack
now.
of planning,
Yeah.
dude. I wish I could take you guys along for like that aftermath of like after it happened. Everyone was just like, dude, we like we bit off too much. Like, how stupid. But you don't know until you know. You don't know until
If it would have worked, everyone would have been like, "Yeah, what a great idea."
Yeah.
exactly. And it wasn't like, again, like if I wad myself up or if anyone does, just like trying to jump the Razor or a dirt bike or anything, that shit happens. But like that was like intentionally a stunt, and then the stunt went wrong, and we are all like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, 6-foot tall pit bike. That's when Gav came in then, and
I
then
did like that one.
and then following that one up was the come and swap Ranger,
Ranger.
because that one took like 3 months. How long did that take?
I think it was 6 weeks.
Oh,
Total.
6 weeks. Okay, way less time than 3 months.
I thought it took longer than that, but yeah,
I think it was 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
I worked on it with you for about 2.
And that's when we were just about finished up with it.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't snow on the ground or nothing.
Oh no.
You know what's also tough
like
about these? We do the same thing. Sometimes even when you guys are editing, you're looking for a video to call back to, and you're like, what video was that? That's a problem we'll probably always have because our videos have so much more than what's just in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, we're
obviously
probably
you're-
missing, like, the
you're just
filler
looking
bits.
at the thumbnail, but
Yeah.
like if we were to go through each video, you go, oh, that's when we pulled you
To
for
go
a day to do
to
this,
build something else.
and we
yeah.
pulled
Yeah.
you for a day to do this. But yeah, that which is I love. Like there's
Yeah.
so much more than
The OG Miata was kind of fun. Like, well, you didn't do much to it. I just welded their diff in it. But,
yeah, that
Yeah.
but you guys
exactly.
rallied that thing. Like, it was
Exactly.
crazy how long that thing lasted. I didn't expect it to last the day.
It is actually insane.
And
Those
it's
Miatas
still,
are
like, the rear
incredible.
end's still good in it.
You just said it was kind of fun. So do you think it's fun working here?
Oh, yeah, it's
'Cause,
awesome.
I mean, you've worked so many different spots.
Yeah, like I've always liked to work someplace. Well, you either don't know what you're doing the next day, or like it doesn't matter if you know what you're doing the next day because you know it's going to be interesting and you know it's going to be fun, and you're working with a group of guys that everybody gets along for the most part. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously everybody gets a little chippy after spending that many hours with each other for that long. But
Is this your favorite job, Big Wrench,
favorite job,
that you've ever had?
Be honest.
it ranks up there. Like, is it my number one favorite? That'd be pretty tough to put that label on it, but it's up in the top 2, 3.
Because you've definitely worked some cool places. I mean, with the race
Yeah.
teams and
Yeah.
all this.
Yeah,
Like
like
the
there's
X Games.
Racing is like something different. Like if it's in your blood, it's in your blood, and it's really tough to get it out of your system. Like I went 4 years and had nothing to do with snowmobiles whatsoever. Like when we moved back home from Minneapolis, didn't even keep up with the circuit, didn't know who was in the circuit.
And
And then you just get pulled back into it, and it's like pretty soon the semi is coming and dropping off snowmobiles at your shop. I mean, your wife's like, "When did we start racing again?" Like, I don't know, just happened.
I promise
Yeah.
I didn't try.
I love the racing side of it because you always have to be on your toes, and like you can't spend too much time on a certain thing, just like you can't here. It's almost like racing here, except you don't have to go out and like win every every weekend.
Well,
Yeah, you're just
racing you
on-
can't let up because somebody will pass you up
Yeah.
real quick.
And if you're not excelling or learning something new every time you're on a track, like you're going backwards.
Right.
I take that mentality with here too. Like you should learn something every day, like I said. And if you learn something every day, like the next day is going to be better because you've learned that yesterday. Now you're going to learn something else today.
Yeah.
Word
Well,
from the wise.
I'm glad
Sure
that
advice.
what's more stressful, racing mechanic or working here?
The timelines here is probably one of the most stressful things.
Man.
Like, and it's not because like you guys put stress on us to get it done, but like you want to get it done. Like
The
everybody.
video's got to happen.
Yeah.
That is an interesting take.
Gavin
like, it's
and I
not
probably
just
put-
us. It's
Yeah, it's
I
everybody
put
watching.
stress on myself
yeah.
because I want to get it done for you guys to go
Right.
do what you do.
And then the fans have something to
Yeah.
watch.
Right.
Yeah.
It all
There's
just
a few
boils
different
down
assets
to
to
this
And that's
ridiculous
like
schedule.
And
we've-
sometimes I feel bad. Like I don't remember even the last time I've actually went and like we finished a project and I went and watched you film it. Just because you're torn between having to go home and eat supper with your family, and,
Right.
or hang out. Like I know it's going to be good because of what you guys do. So I
But
can.
we
watch
do
it.
enjoy
I can
when,
watch it
when
later.
you guys are able to. We do really enjoy.
That is my
as
favorite
soon
part
as-
of the
yeah,
job, too.
When you're done
Yeah.
with the build, it's fun having you along
to go watch and
watching it.
see how it works.
And then 9 times out of 10, you end up wrenching on it that very
Yeah.
same moment. But yeah, it's fun having you guys.
Sometimes it's like this isn't going to work, so I'm going home.
Get the call.
You do kind of
that-
just sneak out of there.
I'm out here.
That's what he did with the Cybertruck. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you guys have fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, Pig Wrench. What if it doesn't work?
I was there when we started filming, and I'm like, okay, it's like we were halfway through, and I'm like, I got to go home, and like I got literally shut the door, and Ben calls,
Yeah.
You're
hey,
like,
can you come back?
It's nice that you live so close.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that that you guys have fun working here, because that's one thing. Like when whoever we add to the team, obviously you got to be good, but we also got to feel like they fit in well around here.
Gotta
you know?
mesh
like,
with
like
everybody.
We like them as
Yeah.
like a person. We like spending time with them because like you want to keep that culture of just like how it is around here.
You spend way too much time as a group in this shop
Mhm.
or at the farm shop to not get along with each other.
And if it throws off like the vibe, then if the vibe's off for filming, then it's just
And the video doesn't
it's
turn out
just
as
not
good.
good. Just not good. So
For sure.
you know,
I'd say it's like a 50-50 thing. Like you gotta 50% get along and 50% be good as far
Yeah.
as that goes.
For
Like
sure.
you really do.
That brings up a good question. Like you guys fit our group so well, even though we are all different in our own ways. If you guys were gonna add another young Padawan or an apprentice to the team, what would you look for in a guy like that or girl? Like what skills would they need? Like where do you feel like the most valuable asset in a person, other than of course getting along and meshing with the team?
I mean, I'm older, so being the age that I'm at, like you need to be able to take direction and listen and learn. Everybody knows certain things, but like when you come into a group like this and there's already guys here, like we know how it runs and how it, like, don't come in thinking that, oh, I'm going to be able to do this and this and this, and these guys don't know how to do this. And it's like, yeah, we've probably already done that once or twice before. Listen
have the
to-
humility
listen to new
to
ideas. Yeah.
to do, kind of what is asked.
And I mean,
guess.
and I would ask myself of the same thing. Like if they bring something new to the table, like don't think that you've done that before. Like, are you no better type of thing. I try to listen to everybody's ideas. Like I'm not the end all be all of any of it. So
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to, add another wrench to the team. Big wrench, little wrench, mini wrench.
Crescent Ranch.
Yeah.
yeah, man, I don't know. We're gonna run out of names.
Monkey wrench.
It'd be good to get a guy that just like can just jump from, maybe Gavin's got a project he's working on and I have one that I'm working on, and you have a guy that can jump from in between.
Hopper.
Yeah.
Give an extra hand
Yeah.
for each of us for whatever we're
Or
doing.
or
yeah.
like if you guys have to, for next week's build, like, hey, we need to go get a bunch of this and a bunch of that, you can send that guy to go do it. But he also has to know enough to like
Be helpful.
like where to go to get that type of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you have to hold his hand the whole time he's gone doing it,
it's not worth
it's
it.
not worth
Yeah.
it.
Well, if there's any local people, or if you guys know anybody that you think would be good, definitely open to that idea. 'Cause that'd be great.
100%.
I agree. I mean, just it's like the more you add to the team, the better it operates. It seems like,
Yeah.
you know.
Or maybe you guys do like a mechanic internship for the summertime from the tech school.
That's an option too. I was thinking, what if we did like a wrench off?
Yeah, there you go.
Where like, you know, it's like a series. You know, we got 5 wrenches and we got a timeline that some might deem ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I was saying.
Big Wrench calls it going to work on Monday.
Yeah.
But and then we have like a series of like, you know, last wrench standing.
No, absolutely. It's kind
Kind
of
of like Hell's Kitchen type of thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually.
That'd actually be really good.
So-
That could be a good
such a good
little.
Who's
reality
going to
series.
be the who's the main chef guy?
Oh, Gordon
Like, he
Ramsay?
comes out and just swears at
That'd be
everybody.
probably
Yeah.
you
Big
or
Wrench.
Gav. One of you two would come in. I don't know if you'd be able
These
to
welds
run
are
out and
shit.
swear.
Oh.
I don't know if Gavin could, but I think you
I don't
probably
think
be
you know
able.
me
I
quite
don't
well.
think you know
Gavin
me.
could probably do it better than Big Wrench.
Just
I don't
coming
know
out.
if I could see you yelling at a guy and
I don't
swearing
think
at
you-
him.
I'd have to start drinking Morgan or
Yeah,
something.
you got to be a mean man to be a Gordon Ramsay spin-off there.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if I could be that mean, but
Yeah.
I mean, I do have the
Just get into
background of
character.
having employees and
Right.
getting
No.
them to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like that idea just because then it, like I was kind of saying about Gavin, is people say what they can do, but oftentimes don't live up to what they're saying. Whereas Gavin was almost like he was very humble with what he was saying he could do, and then outlived that. Like he overperformed way over our expectations. So it's like
The text back and forth from me and Ben before you guys hired me, I like the last thing I said is like, there's only so much I can say. You just got to let me come show you what I can do.
I think that is the best way to find someone on the team. And you look at Dalton, like he came and he wasn't just like a person on the team. He was like doing some cinematic stuff for us. And then we're like, this guy's good and let's do that. So, I mean, if you guys know anybody, we'd love to test it out.
And I like that. I like that idea of having the time to test somebody out. 'Cause
Yeah.
you never know in an interview.
You really
Somebody
don't.
sits down and they fill you full of bullshit.
Talking out their ass.
Yeah.
Well, and
Let's see what we
even
can
on
find.
their end of it, like it's gonna be tough for anybody just to jump into this, and that's like I handed it to Gavin, like you had really no idea what to expect and what the timelines kind of were and stuff like that, and he jumped right in, like handled it.
Built a 6-foot pit bike in 2 days.
Yeah.
Handled
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Handled my biz.
When you ask somebody if you can, this is what we need to have done, can you do it? And he's like, yeah, I can do that,
And
And
that's
he
it.
does it.
and he
Yeah.
does it.
Yeah.
That's the best.
God, you gotta cringe at some of like like being the welders that you guys are when you see like other people being like, yeah, I'm a fabricator, and then you see their welds. Is that one of those
You might
things
be a
that you're just like,
fabricator, but you're not a welder.
More of a grinder than he is a
Dude,
welder.
I love it.
Grinder and paint welder, I ain't.
Sometimes I'll find on Facebook like it'll be like a page that's just like the best welds in the world. That's the name of their page.
I'm
or
pretty
something.
sure Gavin and I both been working on something, and it's like go time. Like we still
Yeah,
supposed to have been done 2 hours
get it
ago, and
done.
I'm like, I'm more of a grinder today, Gavin.
But
Welds look like bird shit, but
is
it's
that
going to
just
make
like
a video.
Is that just like a welder thing though? Like that you just if you post, I'm not joking. Like you post the best weld that you may think that you've ever put down in your life, and people are still
Well,
like,
somebody will pick it apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
It's way
that's like
easier
that
to
with
pick apart
anything.
other people's stuff than it is to do your own.
I guess most welders, all they do is weld all day. So then it's like, well, then they have
That's true.
something to pick
That's
apart. you know?
actually
God,
a
that
good point.
seems like it'd be hard welding all day.
I've done it like here and there, like never over and over again every day. I couldn't do it.
It sounds
Could
pretty.
not do it.
Dude,
Just
you're-
staring
you're-
at an arc all day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're like your
Your eyes
perception
have
of
got. It's gonna be hard on
Yeah.
your eyes. It's gonna be
It
Well,
terrible
when
for your
Yeah.
eyes.
I like this is probably just because I'm old, but like when I TIG weld now, I have to take my glasses off because I can't focus on it.
Really.
Kind of stinks, but
big
Well,
wrench.
maybe we should have a weld off.
Oh,
I get the razor blades out.
Honestly,
We don't need
hey,
you guys going
wait,
against each other.
I mean, like, no, keep the emotions out of it, but it would be fun for a video bit just to like do a weld off, like have
Only
3 to
ra-
5.
how about
if
this?
I'm having a weld off, it's only with razor blades.
what does that even mean?
What
Weld
does that
razor
mean?
blades together?
Oh,
Yeah, we can do that.
Damn, just a one
problem.
and done thing.
What?
How about pop cans?
What? How do you do that?
Yeah, but see,
You take
because
the
you're
two
really
edge-
good at aluminum
You ever
welding, aren't
you
you?
ever seen the edges of a razor blade, like the handheld ones you scrape decals with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weld them two together.
Oh, and
'Cause
that's
they're
like
thin.
that's like
Because
kind
they're
of like
just
a
hard.
flex.
It's pretty tough
Yeah,
to
it's
do.
a flex.
I remember when
The
Ben
sides
wanted
of
to
pop
get.
cans would be tough to do. But
That would be tough. Yeah,
everybody
doing the
says,
ends
"Oh, you
is-
can weld pop cans together." Well, you take the bottom of this is
It's
pretty
thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like weld it together this way.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that.
There
Yeah.
was a little stint when Ben wanted to be a welder.
I've made a couple of our.
Yeah, you welded the
Things.
fenders
Smart car
on the Ranger.
No.
They're still there.
No, we did not.
No, I think we just.
No.
Well, you
We
made it
bought
look like
those
it
from
then.
Tractor Supply.
I don't even know. Yeah, smart car. Something.
It was
on a
during the
smart
smart
car.
car. I remember we got this Harbor Freight welder,
Yeah.
We were putting a lift kit on the smart car. We even had to call Brian over to come help us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fix some shit on it, put it on, and it was right when we moved in. It was like our first winter here. But yeah, I just remember you were trying to do your thing.
That welder that's downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a flux core.
That's when I learned to give
we
it
were
a
working with what we
big
could
wrench.
there.
Dumb thing is you're tying one hand behind your back, just welding with that. That's the problem.
Big Wrench, have you gotten in any Facebook fights lately?
Not in the last week.
He's been too busy.
So Big Wrench is like, as we said, super reserved.
He's a
You're gonna
keyboard
say-
warrior.
I thought
though.
you were gonna
Dude
say
is
old.
just he's a keyboard warrior, and he's
Once
just
in a
a
while.
hothead on Facebook. What's up
Really?
with that?
That's right. That must be my outlet.
Where you
I don't know.
let your steam off.
yeah.
With who? Who
It's
are you fighting
kinda-
with? On
any.
I don't know if
that
he's
he
a
can hop
hothead.
in.
It's kind of fun.
Well, yeah, you're
Instigator.
a baiter.
I kind of do it to get a rise out of people.
Yeah.
You're a troll.
Don't get too good at it because you'll become
Yeah.
A
The
master.
masturbator.
I am not to that level yet.
Dude, yeah, you know Jake Sherbrooke. Jeez, that guy loves. I mean, he's just like, I don't know what to do today. I'm just gonna go rip some people on Facebook and
Yeah.
then.
Well, back when
I
he
thought you were
was
gonna
on,
say
he's
something
not
else.
on Facebook
Yeah,
that
so
much
did I.
anymore. But I used to jump in on dogpiling on somebody else.
Jesus, Big Wrench.
Are you ever worried that you're ever gonna meet one of your
No, I
culprits
There's
I'm
no
not-
way.
Big Wrench knows how to fight.
Yeah,
or one of your victims? I should say.
I'm not too.
He'd
worried.
kick him in the knee.
That's the first thing you do.
Yeah, I know. I've heard him say that a few times.
Kick
Someone
him in the
pressed
knee.
him.
The
I'd-
bigger
I'd
they are,
kick him in the knee.
the harder you kick them in the knee. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Kick him in the knee, huh?
Damn, that is crazy. Yeah.
Have you done that?
Maybe.
Really? Kick him in the front of the
Well,
knee?
I've
Just
been in a couple fights before. I
in the pits on the
I don't
racetrack.
fight for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
a racetrack fight?
well, that
You have
and
some
just,
different defense tactics.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I
a
remember,
great defense.
Like,
tactic.
yeah, it's great.
some people just like to fight. Like they'll go out and just
Yeah.
pick a fight
Yeah.
just for something to do. Like that's what they love to do. Like
Me and Rich ran into a guy like that the other night.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
Oh yeah,
I-
he just
like
wanted to
it-
fight as soon as we got there.
Really? What was he
Trying to
doing?
fight?
He's just talking shit as soon as we got there. He's
What
like,
was he saying?
oh, he's talking shit about the C-Boys. Like, I don't give a fuck about the C-Boys. You guys are pussies. I'll kick your ass.
And it
You
was
wanna go
just-
outside right now.
It was just
Too
you and
rich?
Rich?
well, Rich said something to him, and then he fucking went
But
off
I-
for
What?
the rest of the night.
I-
And no one else was with you guys?
Oh, Ev was there.
I had a buddy of mine, a good friend of mine, and his philosophy is the same as mine. Like when I get into a fight, it's one or two punches either way, and it's usually done.
wow.
Like either I'm gonna win or I'm gonna lose.
There's
You've
no
gotten
need.
in a racetrack fight though? Like in the pits?
Yeah.
Mechanic to mechanic?
A couple of years ago, working for the team that we used to work for, we just about got in a pit fight with the trailer next to us.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the cause?
Kind of.
Park too close.
It was like a
Sorry.
some say I didn't even see it. It was a non-track deal with one of our riders and one of their riders, and kind of a dirty corner, like cross jumping and stuff like that, which is in any motocross or any motorsport you don't do that type of thing. You know, ripped the whole front of the sled off of one of our race sleds, and one of the other mechanics just had like the front end of the snowmobile and just like slammed it down in front of their trailer, and then it was game on for about 15 minutes there for a while.
Really?
No fists were thrown, but it got de-escalated
was close.
before that happened. Yeah.
But you would have hopped in.
Well, if I had to,
Would have had to.
Yeah.
kicking people in the knees.
Yeah. You took down like
Everyone-
6 of them. Boom, boom, boom. All of them are laying on the ground like, my knee.
Crawling away. And Big Wrench is just standing there.
Waiting
Got
for
his
the
hands
next
in his
one.
pocket.
When you're 5'7", that you don't have a whole lot of reach on you, so you got to use something else.
Kick him in the knee.
Craziest
Oh, yeah.
one that I've ever seen. And I wasn't really a part of it. I was with everybody, but a buddy of mine got married and we had a bachelor party. You guys know where the falls is?
No.
When you go tubing down the Otter Tail.
Oh, yeah.
We got in a roundup with like 10 guys there.
Another group.
So this day started off. We all got on this bus that other buddy of ours owned, went to Wildflower. I think we made it 3 holes before they kicked us out of there.
You guys were reckless golfing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then we all pile back on the bus and it's like, let's go tubing. So we rented the tubes, but we had our own bus. And we didn't even care about going tubing, so we just went right straight to the falls. There's actually a road that you can take to get there, but you have to cross private land. And
Really?
we may or may not have like busted the whole gate open with the bus and like drove right back there.
Yo, you guys were driving the bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sat there and we were drinking, having fun. These guys came flowing down the river, didn't have no clue who they were. Weren't even from around here or nothing. And they started jawing back and forth with a couple of our guys, and pretty soon he's coming up on the bank, and one of our guys takes a full can of the beer and chucks it at the guy, and it bounces off of his head.
Oh my
And the
god.
guy's like, "Who the hell threw that?" We're like, "Oh boy."
Oh shit.
I don't know if we got the best of them or they got the best of us, but I remember going to church the next day and a guy that you guys know, his face was swelled up shut.
Really?
Like black eyes. We had a doctor there that stitched us up that night at one of my friend's house.
You guys full on got
Did you?
got beat up.
I didn't.
How
I
many
mean,
knees?
If you had to get stitched
how many,
up,
how many
I
knees
have-
did you kick?
I was still sober enough where I kind of stayed
They
out
were
of that one.
swimming down the bank.
Like I was more like standing behind my big friend, swinging over his shoulder. And everything. 'Cause these dudes were like big.
Sneak attack in the knees.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Swimming underwater, kicking them.
Yeah, they were big.
Have you got in
Like,
hockey
I-
fights?
A couple, yeah. I was a little bit of an enforcer, if you could call it that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They would send Gavin in.
Yeah, a little guy'd come and beat somebody up for hitting the goalie or whatever, you know.
You were little?
Well, I was about this size. I wouldn't say I'm big.
They would.
Yeah, I guess
they
I
would
wouldn't say you're
straight up
little,
send
though.
you in.
No,
little
I'd send
wrench.
myself in.
Make it your mission. Would you shave your head back then? Because you'd be pretty
bald,
mean,
even
dude.
when
Can
he was
you
like
imagine?
7th grade.
A bald 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're like
That would go
soft
high
soul
school,
hard
shaved head with a
full
beard.
beard.
Just beating people up out on the ice.
pretty savage.
Anybody check this guy's ID?
Real quick, can we just laugh about when I gave that homeless lady a ride on the e-bike?
Yeah, bro. That shit was funny.
So
What happened now?
funny. I didn't really like. Basically, this homeless gal who was
See it in the
tweaking.
video.
She, she's a nice lady. She came. She's yelling at us like, "Give me a ride! I want to ride on one of them things." And I was like, "You want to ride or you want to drive?" And this is kind of before we started filming. She's like, "I want to drive it," and I was like, "No way! I'm not letting you get on this e-bike. Like, no way." And then basically she starts coming over, sees the cameras, and starts.
Fuck
Like,
you.
really, yeah. Get that camera out of my face. Get that shit out of my face right now. Like, seriously, I'll mess you up right now. Like, get that out of my face. No filming me. And she's just all riled up. And then I'm just like, well, you still want to ride? And then, like, as that pans out, she's like, sure. And we get on and ride away. After she's like legit trying to like knock the cameras out.
Yeah,
of
she was
their
going
hands.
off after Dalton.
And it was
She's
just
about to tee off on Dalton.
Oh,
It
he
was just
saying
gold.
something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was gold. Like,
So Mike gives her a ride, and then she was like, "Thank you." And Mike goes
Yeah, it
like,
was, like,
"That was
very-
pretty fun, wasn't it?" And she goes, "No, it wasn't."
no, it wasn't. And
Yeah,
she's
hops
and
off
then she
and
hops
attacks
off
Dalton.
and looks at Dalton and just goes,
Just
"I fuck you,
immediately.
you little bitch!" And
Grab
starts
the
like
camera.
keying off on him. It was
Grabbed
crazy.
the camera and everything. Like, he wouldn't let it go. And, like, he, like, had to grab her wrist. And, like, he was like, yeah, I grabbed her wrist and pressed on her pressure point so she let up. Fuck, you know that?
This is kung fu.
Yeah.
I just get a kick out of, like, just...
That was too
Like,
good.
that's something I would have never thought. It's like, I'm just going to grab her pressure point so she'll release, you know? Like, I'd have fucking yanked
So
it
you know
out.
Dalton's been in a cameraman altercation
Yeah.
before.
That's what was the best part when you were like, why were you like letting her get so close? And Dalton was like, I wasn't scared.
It's so...
As Evan is like,
boy.
Yeah,
Boy. Yeah,
Yo.
everyone's like, I want to get out of here. I want to get out of
In
here.
general, Evan, that's so interesting
It
to
is
me. I
interesting.
hate to talk about like this when he's gone, but he's just like, seriously, let's just dip. Let's dip. Let's dip. Let's leave. Let's get out of
I don't-
downtown.
he was so
I don't-
scared of that,
and I'm like-
about that.
And then I'm
Do you
just
think
like,
he's
dude,
actually scared, or do you think he's like,
I don't want to get jammed
I
up.
don't want to get jammed
Yes.
up?
Probably that
Like,
more
Because
so.
if shit goes down, I mean,
yeah. He
I would
didn't-
think Evan would be like
Yeah.
little Tasmanian devil usually.
No, you're right though. Like he
Like
didn't
what?
want to get jammed up by the
"What do you mean, Taz?"
police.
Like he would just be fucking
Just-
everyone up. But
Yeah, in the end, the dust would settle, and he'd just be standing there, and everybody be on.
yeah, that's
He's
true. He's
not
built like
no,
a rock.
He's not much of a fighter.
Oh, you
don't
mean like
quote me on that,
like a
but-
fight?
Ev's been in
Yeah.
quite a few fights
Really?
before our time. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a pretty big hothead.
he's got
Like,
he's got
yeah.
some stories. I won't
He's
tell
a
him,
pretty
but
big fighter.
But I think
I'd say
he's,
like 3 times.
I'm
at
pretty
least,
sure
4
like
fights he's told me
okay.
about.
he's a type that
Real fighters that get into bar fights every weekend are like, that's pussy numbers.
Yeah.
You're a real fighter. Yeah, every Friday and Saturday
hitting
night,
it
I
out.
head out and I get myself into a fight. It's like training.
I don't
Those
think
bar
he's looking
fighters.
for a fight, but he probably has ended a few.
Hold his own.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was too funny. Like I didn't realize how funny it was at the time, and then you guys were like, dude, that was really funny. And then everyone was like, dude, when Micah just took off with
You
that
want to
lady,
ride? Yeah. After
It
she was, and then I
He
was
should have run her
perplexed
down
too.
like 3 blocks and just dumped her off.
I
and came
should have.
back.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I should have left her away from us. But
It
yeah,
was
that,
fun.
that's
Brought her
what it
right
was.
back to the action.
I said she was all mad. She was so mad, and then she's like, "Don't be filming me," blah, blah. And I'm like, "You came to us. You still want to ride though?"
That was funny. That was a total Micah move.
Yeah, the characters that you'll run into downtown.
The characters that are on our just like that we work with every day now. It's like the group is getting bigger and bigger, and it's so fun, like kind of learning like just little funny things about each and every person. Like Dalton's guys things, like Big Wrench, like how I was like, you'd kick him in the knee. Like I've heard him say that before, you know, there's just things you get to know a person, and like, it's just so funny, you know, and it's just like not in like I'm laughing at you, but it's just like, there's so many, everyone's got like their own funny little things about them. And it's fun getting to, you know, learn those
the most
things.
Interesting one that I would like to, if you were going to go and get wild, Justin. Like he seems like he would fly off the handle.
He does get wild.
One time he did. One time
he flew off the handle. We'll have to bring that up when he's on the podcast.
Yeah.
Remember when he was yelling?
Bro, yeah. We were all mad, and he got mad and started. Like, we were all on the same team, but Justin was like giving them the beans so hard that the rest of us like kind of stepped back and we're like, "Yo, man, like chill." Like, like we were going after that. But that's a story for another day.
One time,
but
I've gotten to know him a little bit since he started working for us, for you guys again. But he looks like he'd be a lot of fun.
oh, he is.
He is.
He's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. That's why he's on. That's why he's here. You know.
Something I thought was really funny that made me think of this is when you were like, getting to like kind of know everyone in the group. But there was one the other day that I didn't even know about, and it's when Dalton goes, he's got a fake chain to Evan. And that just struck a chord with him, and he was like, "Hey, fuck you, Dalton! your ugly ass blue truck." And then that struck a chord with Dalton.
No, it was the vice versa though, because he said something about Dalton's ugly truck, and then Dalton just responded behind the camera, "He's got a fake chain." That's what I thought was funny. Like he defended himself a few minutes later.
I don't know what you guys had going on that day, because like I came over. I think I came to pick up Eli from work, and it was like there was some tension.
Yeah.
was
Even
that
Justin,
day.
even
No,
Justin
Ryan-
came over for
Ryan
a
was
second
getting a little bit
was that
snippy.
day.
and goes,
Yeah.
hostile
it was,
work
it was because
environment.
Evan didn't like the rap.
There was a lot of tension that day.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
we
okay,
won't get into
I'm going home now.
It's just funny that you noticed it because, like,
Big Wrench
that day in
could feel
particular,
it.
yeah,
Big Wrench is, I'm going back to the farm.
Yeah.
even I, like,
And he goes, I didn't know I couldn't have an opinion. And we're like,
no,
nobody fucking asked you for your opinion on 100 things since we've been talking here, Evan. That's where we have a problem. You can give your opinion when asked.
And then I think that's when Ryan was like, why do we all got to be like this? Why can't we just freaking get this thing done? I'm sick of everybody just bitching.
bickering, bitching.
Yeah,
And
Big
Evan
Wrench
goes,
just pulled a
and
Yui.
that's when Evan goes, didn't know you couldn't bitch anymore.
It's like, God
He's just
damn.
Evans over there just
But
like,
then I
He's just crying.
you know what? You can bitch if you want.
The,
Just can't bitch
the
too
tension was
much.
going every which way that
Well,
day.
Yeah, but it was all just, it was light. Like
Oh,
everyone was
yeah.
just
Yeah.
I thought it was light. Yeah, I was chuckling.
And it's just you get it thrown aback a little bit because it's rarely ever even like that.
Yeah.
Like everybody gets along so well that
We were
Big Wrench walks in at the thick of it.
well, we were getting pressed for time, and
Well, yeah, it was
also
'cause-
we didn't have much footage, and there was rain. There was a lot of factors, and
Ken
it
was
was
trying to-
Wednesday night.
Ken
you know,
was trying to move his pallets.
yeah, Ken's trying to move his
one
pallets.
thing
There
after
was
another.
just it's tough, and I'd say there's only one thing that keeps getting circled back to as the problem, and it's our schedule that we have put on ourselves. It's insane.
But
like
it's
we're a
kinda-
prisoner of our own schedule, but
so it
it's
keeps you-
necessary.
That's what keeps you going though.
It is.
Yeah.
It's necessary.
Like, and you have to have a schedule, otherwise, like when is it'll
yeah,
never
you'd
get
be like,
done.
oh, well, what do you mean? Like, we'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got the next day. It's just like anything.
Yeah, like I said last week, I got bored when we had a day, half a day off.
Half a day
you know?
off. Yeah, it's like
No,
it's
I
what
hear you.
gosh, I'm gonna have to start mowing lawn if we don't start getting some ideas going here.
on our shitty Toro.
And then you actually will get Evan to throw hands if you start doing that.
Well, guys,
Very good.
I'd love to keep talking, but I feel like you
Yeah.
probably have some. You probably gotta get home for dinner, Big Ren.
Actually, it's my father-in-law's birthday party.
Okay, well, we'll let you get
It's
going.
Why don't you
always
keep
something.
talking then.
It's
Well,
always something.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us
for
on.
everything you do,
Yeah.
and we especially appreciate you coming on the podcast,
Appreciate all you guys
telling
too.
your stories. I'm sure the listeners really appreciate it, and they're
Yep.
probably gonna ask for more. I
Yeah, have
assume.
us back sometime.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah,
Do me a favor, keep it real.
yeah. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you next week.